Ooh, recording. Ooh. All right. Thank you all for coming tonight. This rainy, I was gonna say cool, but it's not cool outside. It's been like basically between 72 and 78 for like 2 days, right? Temperature hadn't really changed that much. But it is October already. I can't believe it's October already. I guess time flies when you're stuck at home. So today we'll do the usual announcements. We'll look at what we did in the last month, look at the big events because we had some big events that happened. We'll look at those a little in depth. We'll talk about the EOC a bit, and then no real program. Russ, we got to get you to do an antenna program. Can you do one next month?
Sure.
I would like one. I would like an HF antenna I can roll up and shove in my bag.
Yeah, okay.
All right, that would be awesome. Ooh, a real program, amazing. All right, here's the usual sheet. We've got our digital workshop on the 4th and 5th Tuesdays of the month. The local nets are the 1st, 3rd, and 5th Thursday. If there's a 5th Thursday, we'll have another one. We always need net control and alternate net control. Of course, the other nets are the statewide phone net, which is every Sunday at 6 during the summer. When does the time change? It's like November or something?
First week in November, I think.
That sounds right. Of course, the district and state WinLink nets, which you guys should be checking into, but you don't. Tisk tisk. That's just sending a WinLink message to those call signs. Real easy. So the month in review, we had 161.5 dedicated hours in September, which that's a lot. Obviously, the vast majority of that is 6-gap. That's basically everyone here's time, a couple more people that we've had on the roster. It doesn't include everyone with 6-gap, obviously, but it includes Renee and Paul, who are like 14 hours on that Sunday. So includes, I think, Russ, I got you down. You were there pretty much all day, right? Riding around.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. So we did a lot of stuff, but I think that's every September. I think that should be expected at this point. I think we can probably do better than 161 hours. But we also had the digital exercise, which was a few more hours. I can't remember what that was. It's gonna be 4 times 7 is 6. It's gonna be around 20-25 hours there as well. So then we had some HF nets, so that's always good to get some hours for that. Usually I keep it for calendar month, but we also had the set last week, which is not included in those hours, that hour total. So we'll have that for October. As soon as we get all those hours recorded. So here we go, the big event review. So we had the digital exercise at Hewlett Creek Park. That was fun. We will do that again, hopefully maybe next month. If it's, let's see, it's October. We've already had, you guys want to do one at the end of October? I guess. Yes, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll schedule another one of those. We'll mix it up a little bit because we're actually getting pretty good. You guys remember the first time we did this, it took about 3.5 hours to send a message around twice. And this time we did that in like an hour and a half. So that was pretty good, right? It was actually more stations the second time as well. So we did more in less time. So we're getting good at it. So I'll get another one of those scheduled. It'll basically be cut and paste from the last one. So I don't know, we may meet an hour earlier just to avoid those parking crowds for the Pee Wee football that we saw there. There's a lot of people there by the time we left last time. So 6-gap again. We've all done 6-gap 100 times. Lorraine, you wound up at Vogel. Is that where you
Yes.
hung out a little bit there? Did you
Yes.
learn anything there?
Yeah.
I just have a few questions in reference to communications as a whole. Some things that I noticed is down at Vogel. And it might be because we had Union County there and not y'all, was our local group there.
Yeah.
So it might have been different. There was no communication from the ARES operators to anybody except a SAG driver.
Really?
So when things were going on, things were happening, I was actually running relay from the ham guys up to the state patrol guys and the law enforcement guys.
Okay.
They were totally out of the loop, out of the communications plan whatsoever. And I don't know if that's something that's been considered in the past as far as making sure that information is exchanged.
Smile, you had similar at your place too, right?
You talking about the Union City cops?
Yeah, you kind of just sort of showed up and was like,
Yeah, they had no idea. They had no idea what was going on. Wanted to come in there and change everything around, and we finally gave them so much grief that they left and went down the road.
And see, I didn't have any issue with Union, and the state patrol was posted there where I was at Vogel. And they were just very, very open to what we needed. They provided me back a page of feedback for the after action for the chamber, a full page, very participatory, wanting to know what was going on, and was great with wanting information.
oh, that sounds like two different results from the same situation there then.
Exactly. And I kind of expect that. But there is some lack of communication, and I will not find fault in anybody for that.
Mhm.
But this was the first year that the chamber opened up planning to leadership outside of Lumpkin County. So a lot of folks.
Yeah, I was going to make that remark that before, kind of like, I think they made a phone call the week before to Union County and said, can you put a deputy here at the turn? That's pretty much the entire planning that they had. So,
right.
And they really didn't do a thing. All they were concerned about when they got there was their perception of safety, which was just way overkill. Everything was running just as smooth as it could until they got there. Then they had traffic backed up all three directions. And finally, we gave them so much grief that they quit directing traffic and went way down the road ahead of one of the timers to slow traffic down. And that's about all they did, basically.
what time did they show up at your place, Smiley?
About 1 o'clock, I guess. 12:30, 1 o'clock, somewhere in there.
It would have been 2000.
It was the final. I think the final riders were almost to the top of Blood Mountain when they showed up.
Yeah.
In the past, there wasn't as many left turns in high traffic areas. So I don't think there was as much need for law enforcement either.
There's a huge need at Vogel.
There is.
I bet there is, yeah.
And we identified several issues, which I won't get into tons of them unless y'all want to talk offline about it. But for communication purposes, maybe some future planning for making sure that information gets relayed back and forth, because the State Patrol had a few things that would have been great to have been relayed back to everybody else too.
Yeah.
So, maybe for future planning, that takes place on the communication side. I'll try to remember that. I have it in my notes for the after action if we get to do one with the chamber.
Okay. Yeah, that would be good to follow with Renee and let her beat on them as well. Because if the chamber was the one reaching out to State Patrol and Union County and all this, then I guess they're the ones who need to mention such things. I guess we need to probably figure out a way to. I don't know. We're kind of passive too with the rest stops, just kind of showing up and saying, "Hey guys," and that's it. Right.
Well,
And
you
then
know,
kind of the work stop does their thing, and then hams do their thing, and so.
well, in hindsight, there definitely was an issue with the placement of the timers. They were too close to the intersection. They should have been spread out. They should have been on a straightaway.
Mhm.
And that probably would have alleviated all of their issues.
Yeah.
And we'll know that next time.
Mm-hmm. You put that in your after action to Renee?
I did.
I figured you did.
Has anybody in this group worked Vogel before?
No. It's been the Union County guys for as long as I remember,
Okay.
7 or 8 years now at least.
Now, I have a lot of feedback to provide back to the chamber for Vogel.
I mean, well, we can get it shared over there. Or anything else for Six Captain? We had a good time. Jim and I parked in the Brasstown parking lot and sat there and said, "Yep, radio's still on." 3:30, we turned it off.
Did you
It's a lot.
did you have any communications through the across the repeater? Did you?
Yeah, Jax at the bottom of the hill was using it, and Sags were using it. So, yeah, I was curious if anyone even used it, because I would have no idea if anyone was keying it up or not. Because I'm just listening. So, I mean, yeah. But yeah, it was in use. Coverage sounded probably better than normal, and I don't know why. Probably just atmospheric conditions, would be my guess. Sounded pretty good, but it was a good time. So, Smiley, thanks for doing that new turn. You there with Jim from Athens, right? He showed up KF4.
Yeah, he got there about 8. That was previously planned. There wasn't any point in him being there any earlier than that. He had to drive, 100 miles or so.
Yeah, he's in Athens, so.
Yeah, but I was set up in about 20 minutes, and he showed up right after I got it set up, and he set up a duplicate station of mine, with a mast and everything, but we never even used it. So.
Yeah, you had it. You went through the process. You put it up in the air. It was there and ready to go. So, see. So Paul's alternate net controller of Renee. How was that, Paul?
Well, it's a lot more comfortable than being out there on someplace. And Renee did the lion's share of the work, so it was kind of like uneventful for me, but I would write down notes when people were talking about stuff, so we, to make sure we had the right numbers and things like that. But most of the time I had very little to do, unless Renee had to go to the bathroom or something.
Yeah. So she said, Paul, you let me be able to pee, and that's amazing. Yeah. Rick, you skipped on us this year, didn't you?
Oh, I was there.
Oh,
I was at Wolfpen.
That's right. You were Wolfpen.
Yeah, it was a Grand Central Station.
That's right. You were at the non-rest stop that everyone
Wanted to rest at.
Yeah, that everyone rested at.
Yeah.
Wondered where the facility.
We had no water. We had no porta potty. Everybody had to pee, and all the trees were wet. And everybody was expecting that to be a rest stop, but it wasn't. So they came in. They wanted water. They wanted to rest because that's a pretty good haul up that.
It's a good climb.
That peak. So
yeah.
I rode the hog pen route in both directions in the past couple of days, actually twice, and I can see both sides of the coin. What I never really paid attention when I drove it before about the long downhill, and I also didn't pay attention to the long uphill if you're going in the other direction.
Yeah.
And I can see where it's a challenge going up that hill.
Yeah.
It lasts forever.
Is there room for a full station up there?
Oh, yeah, they've had a full station before this.
Yeah, it's been a rest stop until this year. But we'll-
Yeah, how many
Okay.
more, rest stops did they have in the past? They had two more, right?
Plus like med tents and stuff. I think it went from 9 to 5 or something like that. Like those aren't the numbers, but it's somewhere around there. So, yeah, but
You don't have to have a total rest stop. You could have water and a toilet.
yeah,
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think they were,
and-
they
that
they were
would've been
discussing.
handy.
They
And,
were,
and
dis-
that
they were
would
discussing
suffice.
doing that.
That would suffice in a lot of ways. Plus, it would also give us a toilet.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Since we're donating our time, you'd think they could give us a damn toilet.
They were saving money on porta potties.
Yeah, right.
Coming from a
The other
small
thing,
community,
the other bad thing about that place up there is that the traffic is very fast.
It is.
bad, isn't it?
Motorcycles go screaming through, the cars go screaming through.
Okay, the answer to that is that you need to put some cones on the center lines on both sides of Wolf End Gap down about about half of a tenth of a mile. And people know then to slow down. They don't know what for, but they know to slow down, and they do.
I think a
And
police car with a flashing red light would be handy too.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, but I mean, that same issue is true for 180 from Suches all the way to Vogel, every weekend.
Mhm. Well, Vogel was very dangerous. I've never sat there at that station before.
Mm-hmm.
And noticing what was happening at Vogel, yeah, I'm honestly 100% shocked that we didn't have somebody killed there during that race.
That intersection is terrible. The fact that coming down Blood Mountain, you take a left into it, and then you take another left back up on to the highway to continue the ride. And then people screaming up and down Blood Mountain on top of it. Yeah, it is. It didn't seem like a safe place when described. So, well, I mean, this is feedback. We just need to give the chamber, right? This is
Mhm.
They've already got mine.
So yeah, I think everyone sent theirs in. So hopefully they'll make some improvements next year. We'll see. We'll definitely have to make communication improvements there then.
Yeah.
And I
Did you
think
put my
maybe-
time down too?
Was that right?
Did you put my time down? I had at least 10 hours out there.
Yeah, I got everyone's time.
Okay.
What were you gonna say, Larry?
I think some of it is just a matter of communication follow through,
Mhm.
making sure that information is exchanged. Because it's one thing we all know to sit at the radio and hear and log information, but making sure that information gets conveyed, to people who need to hear it.
That's valid. So it's especially true at Vogel because there's the shuttle drivers. There is the rest stop people that captain their team. Obviously State Patrol was there, right? Was Union County there as well?
They were there passing through several times. They didn't stop and stay. They came, in and out through the day. Personally, I would have liked to have had some updates from the hams as to where the groups were. Like at Turner's Corner, how many had come through Turner's Corner, or when the last people were coming through Turner's Corner.
So that did get updated, right? So the first riders, the first big group, the first riders, the first group, the big group, those always get sent in by the ham.
Right, but with me not standing directly in the ham tent,
Yeah.
none of the messaging ever came, through to make sure it was provided to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And that would have made a difference with some of the things that the law enforcement was doing.
Were you not able to hear it because the sound was low, or just because it was non-existent to you?
It was, their sound was low. I pulled up my vehicle within, probably 30 feet of their tent and blocked in front of them. And unless I walked over there and stood directly under the tent was the only way I could hear traffic.
Okay, I got a bunch of these Motorola speakers. I always use external speakers and use a couple of them and turn them in a couple of directions. So no matter where you were, you could hear.
Right. And they didn't have any kind of setup like that. And then
Yeah,
once my walkie died, I was done for. So
Oh, yeah.
and that's real easy to do. You just gotta get ahead of the game. That's all.
exactly. And that would be a suggestion that I would make
Yeah,
on the communication side to make sure that you had a way for people to hear the traffic.
yeah, that stop needs a little more than everything else. You know, I was gonna say like Neil's doesn't need that, but that's not a rest stop anymore. You know, like Unicoi doesn't need that, right? Because it's kind of a pass through. I think I think we learned that more people gave up physically at Unicoi than anywhere else, right? There's a lot of I think she sent a shuttle over to Unicoi to pick up all the people. There were so many people there. So anyway. All right, well, all these things are noted and we will see what we can do for next time. All right. Any other complaints about Six Gap? Go to Renee. All right, then we had the set this past weekend. Let's see. Who participated in that? I think I heard Smiley, I heard Paul on there, right?
Yeah.
Rick and Russ, did you guys do that? No. I muted you earlier, Russ, because you were talking outside the room.
I think the set went pretty well. I got most everybody there got RDOP working on HF,
Oh, that's good.
except for our good friend Smiley there. And we desperately tried to help him get going, but we haven't quite figured out what his issue was.
I just got totally frustrated and left about noon.
So how did David do? Let's talk about someone while he's not here.
I thought he did well.
Okay, good.
He seemed to be concerned that he wasn't getting the injects. I thought that was the plan, is that we were kind of doing this on our own outside of the state this go round.
Yeah, most of the leadership in the state was actually out doing their own local stuff this time. There was the offsite over in Jasper. Renee was over there with 3 other people that you probably heard before, heard the call signs and names, and they were doing injects there. So it was definitely being done. I also sent David a list of injects to try. Just things like, since we were simulating an ice storm, right? That was the concept there. Things like your primary HF antenna, got ice on it and it fell down. Figure out what to do now. Things of that nature. So nothing complicated. Again, nothing like Renee does, where she crashes planes and trains and severs pipelines and earthquakes during ice storms, during hurricanes.
I'm not even sure we had time for injects. We were doing our best just to get messages through.
Well, that's fine. We've been doing packet peer-to-peer for the last few months, and now this is the first time we've done anything HF based. So I think as long as we learn something, right?
I think everybody but me did.
Yeah, and
You learned you couldn't get it working.
Yeah, really.
Renee brought up DRATs, and DRATs might make a good exercise for us to. No, it's not the radio communication, but it kind of gets everybody on board of things that are going on.
Yeah.
And then he could have seen the injects from it's like David said, he's only got one HF radio, so he can't be doing two things at the same time. So
Mhm.
that would get rid of that problem too.
Yeah, valid. So I'm hemming and hawing on DRATs because, like you said, it's not as it's used as not radio. You can use your radio with it, by the way. I don't know if you ever done that. But it was mostly for the administrative backend stuff and not the exercise stuff. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a good tool to have, but it's not something that we would actually use during emergencies, right? You know, if DRATS is working as described or as we're talking about, then that means internet's up and we're probably not the ones doing the communication, right? That means everyone's got email, but yeah, we can talk about it and put that in the tool bag and have that available. So. Yeah, I was listening in. I checked in. Well, I was curious if I was on Brasstown. I was curious if I could hit the repeater from there. I didn't know if it was line of sight or not. Obviously it was, because you guys were just booming in. But I was driving up the mountain about, I don't know, it's about 7:30. I'm driving up Brasstown, right? And I'm on in the shadow of the mountain, and I hear the repeater keeps, coming up as I, make turns, and I hear, "This is the simulated emergency test. We're taking check-ins." I was like, "Dave, you're not supposed to start this till 9 o'clock." So I'm thinking it's like 7:30. Right. This is actually there's a repeater in Bolingbrook, Georgia, which is Macon. It's on the same frequency. It was coming in like gangbusters. I thought it was, the local repeater. It was so loud. I tried to check in with them, but I didn't know their tone. But then as we're sitting there too, we're monitoring the 805 repeater at Jasper, because that's where all the stuff we were doing was out of. And I heard somebody else, I'm like, that is not anyone I know. And then the repeater tone popped up, and I'm like, that is not the 805 repeater. And the guy's talking, he's like, this is blah, 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 out of something, West Virginia. I'm like, we're listening to a repeater in West Virginia on the top of Brasstown. It's like, that's pretty amazing, actually. So, yeah, it was confusing to have such radio silence up there and have such line of sight for everything. So of course I did turn on my APRS beacons, and those got all picked up in Chattanooga as well. So they could hear me in Chattanooga. So, height is everything. So, but it was a success for us. We did a packet run just like we do in the park, except we did it across the state of Georgia, the northern half of Georgia. We talked directly to, I can't remember where the mountain was, but it's basically Gordon County. Is it Gordon County? No, anyway, somewhere on around Calhoun or something like that.
That's Gordon.
Is that Gordon? Yeah.
They got a great repeater over there. It's like W4 WOC or something like that.
I wonder if he was doing the packet run like from the repeater site, right? Because that's what they were doing to start it. Like Frank, who's the section emergency coordinator for the whole state, he was there with Larry, one of the digital guys. They were at the tower site where the 805 is. That's where they started the packet from. So I wonder if there's a lot of that going on.
Somebody was up at the repeater site where our repeater is.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the fire station there. There was a bunch of somebody's there.
Oh, maybe that's where they were then.
That's where they were. Well, Larry, somebody.
Yeah, Larry. Yeah.
Yeah, they were at the fire station at our repeater.
Okay.
The one where the lawyer told me to get the hell off the property and don't ever come back again.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Next time I won't ask permission.
Well, you just go to the fire station side instead of the
That's a good idea.
the cell site side.
Good idea.
It's the same parking lot, isn't it?
It is. I don't know where the property, the sub property line is, but yeah, you can get right over there next to the fire station, and I don't think anybody will bother you.
I'm sure someone on this call tonight can probably get us permission to set up at a Lumpkin County Fire Station.
And we can also go around the corner to that other brick building on the right-hand side.
That's
That's
right.
got a big open field in front of it and nobody can even see you there.
So just see your mask poking up the top.
Yeah. You got a thick tree line between the road and that building.
Yeah. All right. Well, we learned a lot from SET, I think. I think the local, we learned a lot. And as the northern half packet run thing, we learned a lot. I was up there with Joe Martin, WB4S. He's out of Hall County. Let me let the repeater drop. Excuse me. And he's a digital guy, and he and I were looking around like, this is a great place to have an exercise. We need to figure out a way to have some people up here and do some stuff. I think we can probably do like communications from up there to like EOCs and hospitals and whatnot around probably the entire Northeast district, to tell the truth. So we're gonna look at that, but you know, we've made promises like that before. Let's see if we can get that working. So,
And you know, at some point down the road, it would be nice if we could deploy to mountaintops, several different mountaintops around,
yeah,
you know?
I don't say stuff like that unless you want to drive to mountaintops, Smiley.
Well, I got one right here, right, 30 minutes from me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's make a plan for that. That's another thing we need to figure out, is where we need to be to communicate with different parts of the county. Because we talked about this before, most of us, save you, Smiley, are, in the southern half of the county or White County, right? And, the mountains, who knows? We got to get out there and do something about that. So,
Well, I'm 30 minutes from Biskie. I'm about 45 minutes from Springer.
can
Uh,
you get the top of Springer with some radio equipment?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
there's a gravel road that comes up from I guess about 6 or 8 miles from me. I think it's about 9 miles long, and that goes
Okay.
right up to the top.
All right.
Very drivable.
All right. Well, maybe we need to figure all that out.
And there's several camping areas right up there on top, large camping areas.
Okay.
Yeah, there's one that's got a large, I say large, fairly large field, because we used to land helicopters up there, a little pavilion and some things up there on the top.
Oh, that sounds like a place to put antennas up instead of stations.
They have a lot of Boy Scout troops go up there and camp.
I don't know, maybe in the winter when everyone's, all the Atlanta people are not driving up here to the great outdoors, we can probably do something like that.
Yeah.
All right, that's a great idea. All right, I'll expect your all your ICS forms by the end of the month, Smiley, to organize this event.
I did say down the road. You heard that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. The long and winding road.
Yes. It's probably like my my tower project. It started 5 years ago, and I still don't have a tower up. I got the concrete in the ground though.
It's downhill now.
Well, I got the antenna sections setting those up right now, so that's good. I say antenna, the tower section is what I meant. But anyway, all right. Anything on the big events then? So we'll do another digital exercise maybe by the end of the month. Let me look at calendar. How many weeks do I have? Ooh, not many. Do it
They
on
got 3 weeks, 3.5.
probably do on the 30th, I imagine. I'll figure it out. I'll send out the docs on that one. 6 cap, we got all the input from the group there, and hopefully can make a difference for next year. And then SET, we got some input there too as well. We'll try to improve that for next time. What, any other questions on that? Anything, comments? All right, moving on. So ESC update. So I'll let Lorraine correct me here. I'm just going off of what was said last time. The radio room should be available in the next couple weeks here. So the next couple weeks in government terms may be in January, but we'll see.
It'll
So
be
what-
ready to view whenever I'm there at work, so.
Okay. So we need to get basically 2 volunteers to go scout it out and check the radio room, check for furniture, check for room, see what we need in there. Make a list of, I guess we need to figure out what equipment we want to put in there and where it would go in there to make sure that we don't have any gotchas when we actually get in there. And at the same time, we also need to find that coax that's been floating around the ceiling somewhere for, I don't know how many months. So if you would like to help with that, please let me know and we'll get all that coordinated. And of course, we'll need to get it scheduled with Lorraine because, you know, she's going to be the one to let us in the door. But if you go, we're going to do mask and distancing because you gotta be careful here. And I also have a big pile of donated gear we need to go through. So if you're interested in helping out with that, that's stuff that will go in the EOC. I think there's an HF radio in there and some stuff like that. So if you're interested in helping
Right.
out with that, let me know because it's just a pile of stuff over there. I don't.
That help you set up at the EOC, yeah.
What do you think about taking the equipment and testing it out before we even take it over there and see
Yeah,
what
Totally
works
what we
best?
should be doing. Yeah. Those should be 2 separate events. Test the equipment and then take it to the EOC. So, okay, so maybe you guys ready for this? You guys all sitting down? How about for the digital exercise, I bring all that equipment and we can all test it in the field while we're there. That's what an amazing concept. Testing
Yeah.
equipment.
Depends on how much you got, I guess.
It's not a lot. I mean, it's a couple boxes of stuff. I don't
Oh,
even know.
yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not like a whole shelf of stuff. I'm not Bob Lear, you know.
Aaron, does that pavilion that we used, does that have electricity?
I do not think it does.
Don't think so.
Bring batteries.
I've got an inverter in the back of my truck. I'll back my truck up with an extension cord if we need power,
Okay.
or a whole bunch of batteries, like someone just said. So, we can get power. Might need to ask someone to bring a simple HF antenna so we can test HF radios. So I'm looking at Russ.
Yeah,
You
we
can't
can
see
do
them looking at him, but I'm looking at him.
Yeah.
All right. So if you guys want to help out with the EOC or the equipment testing, let me know. We don't want everyone in there, obviously. We don't need to take a large group, but just 2 or 3 people should be adequate to do the job and not make everyone nervous about groups in there. So, any questions? Anybody? No one? Everyone asleep today? I'm sleepy too. All right. So we need to do something for November as well, but I think we just said October 30th. So let's go to the next month on the calendar. The 27th would be Thanksgiving weekend. No one wants to work then. So we may just skip November and do like December 4th will be the following one. We'll see. So and we don't want to do exercises every week because we did, what do we do? We did the digital exercise, 6 gap, and the set. We're all in consecutive weekends. That was a little much. We're all volunteers here. We don't do this for a living. So maybe we'll just skip November because of the few weekends and the late October exercise, just do a early December one.
I'm for that.
Yeah, let's just do that. Okay. All right, anything else from anybody? Anyone?
I'll be glad to help with the EOC or whatever, find color.
Okay. All right, very good. Well, since we're gonna have an exercise on the 30th, let's talk about November to visit the EOC. Is that okay, Lorraine? Sometime in November?
Yep. How about if I get some dates together and send them to you? That way it'll be easier. I've got 2 travel times in November.
Okay. And just let us know and we will make it happen.
Do you prefer weekend or during the week?
What do you prefer?
I can work around things. That's why I'm saying, we're not stuck to, Monday through Friday,
Okay.
unless the ones that are coming would prefer that.
I mean, I think we probably do Monday through Friday, just not to put a burden on people. I mean, let's face it, it's a bunch of ham guys. I mean, they got a lot of time on their hands.
Well, some have jobs.
Some of us have jobs, yes. Yeah, but we'll, just during the week is probably fine. So let's just schedule it for then.
Doesn't matter to me.
See, some people can have a lot of time on their hands.
We earned it, Aaron.
Oh,
We
oh.
earned
All right, all right. I'm getting close. I feel it. I feel like I am.
it. You're earning it now.
Unrelated to ARES, the South Dakota QSO party is this weekend. So if you need South Dakota, which probably everyone needs South Dakota.
I have South Dakota. One of the
Yeah,
few
South
that I have.
Dakota? I've got digital South Dakota, so it doesn't count. I'm looking for a sideband contact.
Arizona, Pennsylvania, and South Dakota.
In Nevada.
Oh, really?
Nevada's
Yeah, that's sad.
Someday, yeah, when we're going up to Brasstown, we actually set up an HF antenna. I got an Alpha Delta DX80, which is a 134-foot dipole. That thing was huge, huge. But we put that up in the air.
80 meter.
Yeah, just 80-meter mono. And we put that up, and I was like, if we're gonna put that up, we're gonna go through the effort. I'm gonna make some contacts up there. So I'm like, what QSO party is this weekend? It's like, it's California. Everyone has 1,000 contacts to California. I don't need California. We should have had to set this coming weekend so I could get some South Dakota from up there. All right, anything else from anybody? We'll wrap this one up early because I think we're all sleepy. It's raining. Makes me want to nap.
My next meeting. So.
All right. Going once, going twice. All right. Well, Lorraine, if you send some dates up, we'll figure out who can get up there and meet. And we'll. Do we need to bring a ladder? Is the question.
There's a ladder there.
I think what Smiley said, you mean it's a fire station and doesn't have a ladder?
Are there any rats? Are there any rats on the ceiling?
I hope not.
So we're gonna test equipment at the next
Yeah.
park thing. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll get there a little early with a bunch of boxes and we'll unpack them and figure out what we got. And I'll send out all the documentation for that exercise. Luckily, it'll be a copy paste from last time, which was a copy and paste from the previous time. So I'll just change the dates on everything and it should be good to go. Anything else from anybody? All right. Well, John, Paul, Rick, Lorraine, Russ, thanks for coming.
Thank y'all for everything that you do.
Thanks for helping us out, Lorraine.
Night,
All
everybody.
right, we'll see you guys.
All right,
Nice.
auf Wiedersehen. Auf Wiedersehen.
Bye bye.